Ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to witness a story not just of success, but of relentless fire, unyielding courage, and unstoppable rise. This is the story of a man who refused to be limited by circumstance, a man who turned his struggles into strength, who transformed his silence into a roar heard across every corner of ambition. This is the rise and the roar of Joe Ranga. Joe Ranga began his journey as many great leaders do, quietly, almost unnoticed. But inside him burned an energy too powerful to stay hidden. Every challenge he faced became fuel. Every failure became a lesson. Every doubt from others became motivation. His rise was not easy, but it was earned. What makes Joe Ranga stand apart is not just his achievements, but the spirit with which he achieves them. He is a symbol of resilience, a reflection of discipline, a living proof that with vision, heart, and persistence, any mountain can be climbed. When the world said, "Slow down," Joe Ranga said, "Watch me." When life whispered, "Quit," he replied, "I will rise." And when people doubted his potential, he let his actions roar louder than any words he could ever speak. His journey teaches us that greatness is not a stroke of luck. It is the result of consistent effort. It is built brick by brick, risk by risk, day by day. As Joe Ranga climbed higher, he didn't just rise alone. He pulled others up with him. His roar inspires confidence. His rise inspires hope. Today, as we look at his story, we are reminded of our own silent strengths, our own unexpressed ambitions, our own potential waiting to roar. If Joe Ranga can rise from the ground to the stars, then so can each one of us. So let his life be a message. Rise with purpose. Roar with confidence. And let your journey become the inspiration someone else needs. Because the world does not need more silence. It needs more voices like Joe Ranga. Every great story has a beginning, and Joe Ranga's start was one marked not by applause, not by recognition, but by a deep and almost invisible silence. His early life did not carry the shine of privilege nor the noise of fame. Instead, it carried the quietness of a dreamer who was still learning to understand his own potential. Joe was the kind of person who observed more than he spoke, who listened more than he reacted, and who stored every lesson deep within him. In those early days, when the world barely noticed him, Joe was shaping the foundations that would one day support his extraordinary rise. He watched how people succeeded, how they failed, how they adapted, and how they transformed. He learned to stay patient when others rushed, to stay consistent when others gave up, and to believe in himself even when nobody else stood behind him. This quiet beginning was not a weakness, it was his greatest training ground. It taught him humility, resilience, and patience. It trained him to find strength in silence, to build confidence in private, and to nurture ambition without the need for validation. Joe understood that true greatness is not about starting loud, it is about starting strong, steady, and purposeful. While others overlooked him, he was preparing. While others doubted him, he was sharpening his skills. And while others saw nothing special, he saw a future only he could imagine. This period of silence became the bedrock of everything he would later achieve. For in that quiet beginning, Joe Ranga discovered not who the world wanted him to be, but who he was destined to become. Struggle did not break Joe Ranga, it built him. Every difficulty, every setback, every moment of uncertainty became a powerful force shaping his character. Joe didn't grow in moments of comfort. He grew in moments when life pushed him to the edge and demanded more than he thought he had. These struggles were not random obstacles. They were the teachers that crafted his resilience. Joe's journey was filled with challenges that could have easily discouraged anyone else. Times when resources were limited, when support was scarce, when opportunities seemed almost impossible to reach. Yet, instead of allowing these challenges to define him, he used them to redefine himself. He understood something profound. Struggles reveal strength that comfort can never show. In the harsh moments when most people would step back, Joe stepped forward. He learned how to adapt when the path changed, how to rise when life pushed him down, and how to build inner power when the outside world felt heavy. Every struggle sharpened his mind, strengthened his discipline, and toughened his spirit. While others saw pain, Joe saw preparation. While others saw obstacles, he saw openings. While others broke down, he broke through. Each tough experience added a new layer to his personality, depth, wisdom, and a type of fearlessness that can only be earned through hardship. The challenges didn't slow him, they sculpted him. Step by step, struggle by struggle, Joe transformed into someone who no longer feared difficulty but embraced it as part of his rise. His strength wasn't inherited or handed to him. It was forged in the fire of his experiences, a fire that made him unshakable. Failure was never a full stop for Joe Ranga, it was a comma, a pause, a moment to breathe, observe, learn, and then move forward with sharper precision. While many people view failure as a signal to retreat, Joe treated it as a blueprint. Each time he failed, he didn't collapse under the weight of disappointment. Instead, he leaned in, studied every detail, and extracted valuable lessons hidden within the experience. He believed that failure is not the opposite of success, it is a crucial part of it. Every misstep revealed something new, a weakness to strengthen, a skill to refine, a strategy to upgrade, a mindset to improve. Joe never repeated the same mistake twice because he made sure each failure taught him something different. This habit alone separated him from those who remained stuck in cycles of frustration. Whenever he encountered setbacks, he didn't waste time blaming circumstances or people. He asked the deeper question, what is this failure trying to teach me? That single mindset shift transformed challenges into opportunities for growth. Joe's approach turned failure into a strategic tool. He recorded his mistakes, analyzed his decisions, broke down what went wrong, and rebuilt his path with more clarity than before. Instead of drowning in regret, he used self-reflection as fuel to re-enter the game with double the force. Every failure refined him. Every misstep recalibrated his direction. Every disappointment deepened his understanding of his goals. Through this process, Joe developed a remarkable skill, the ability to convert setbacks into successful strategies. Each failure became a stepping stone that elevated him, shaping his mindset into one that could withstand adversity and outsmart obstacles. His journey proves that failure is not final, it is feedback, and when used wisely, it becomes one of the most powerful tools for rising higher. For Joe Ranga, discipline wasn't just a quality, it was a weapon he sharpened daily. While talent can open doors and luck can create moments, discipline is what keeps a person standing when everything else starts to shake. Joe understood this deeply. He built his rise not on unpredictable bursts of motivation, but on the steady, unbroken rhythm of consistent effort. Every morning, before distractions arrived, Joe was already in motion. He followed routines that strengthened his mind, structured his time, and protected his goals from chaos. Discipline allowed him to stay focused when temptations tried to pull him away, when fatigue whispered rest, and when challenges tried to slow him down. It became his shield against discouragement and his compass when the path blurred. Joe didn't rely on excitement to push him, he relied on habits. He trained himself to work even on days when he felt uninspired. He practiced even when nobody was watching. He improved even when progress felt slow. This commitment turned discipline into a daily ritual, something that shaped not just his actions but his identity. He planned his days with intention, understood the value of time, and refused to waste moments on things that didn't align with his purpose. Discipline taught him endurance, patience, self-control, and an ability to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term reward. These qualities quietly set him apart from those who wanted quick results without consistent effort. Every achievement Joe reached can be traced back to quiet mornings, late nights, repeated practice, and unwavering self-control. When others lost focus, he stayed committed. When others gave 50%, he gave 100% again and again. His life became living proof that discipline doesn't just create success, it sustains it, fuels it, and multiplies it. Through discipline, Joe turned potential into performance, dreams into action, and ambition into measurable progress. It is the force that carried him forward, even when the journey demanded more than most people were willing to give. Joe Ranga's journey was defined by one powerful belief: limits are not walls, they are invitations. While most people accept boundaries as permanent, Joe saw them as temporary lines waiting to be crossed. He understood that progress only happens when a person dares to push beyond what feels comfortable, predictable, or safe. From the very beginning, Joe challenged his own assumptions about what he could or could not do. He questioned limitations that society placed on him, that circumstances tried to impose, or that fear attempted to whisper into his ear. Instead of shrinking away, he leaned forward. Instead of playing small, he expanded his vision. He knew that courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move despite it. Every time the world doubted him, Joe felt something awaken inside him. Doubt didn't discourage him, it fueled him. It pushed him to train harder, think smarter, and rise higher. When people said, "It can't be done," Joe heard, "Prove it can." That mindset transformed every challenge into a mission and every limitation into a target he was determined to break. He refused to live a life defined by other people's expectations. He refused to settle for a version of himself shaped by fear. He refused to underestimate his potential. Joe took risks others avoided. He stepped into unfamiliar territory. He attempted what seemed too difficult, too ambitious, or too uncertain. But that is exactly where growth happens, beyond the edges of comfort. This courage did not come from a sudden burst of bravery. It came from a lifetime of pushing himself little by little, decision by decision, step by step. Every time he dared to stretch his boundaries, his confidence expanded. Every time he overcame a fear, his belief in himself deepened. Bit by bit, limit by limit, he forged a fearless spirit capable of achieving far more than he once imagined. Joe's rise became a testament to what happens when a person refuses to be boxed in. When they challenge not only the world's expectations but also their own. His courage became a driving force, a quiet, powerful roar that made it clear he would not stop at the limits placed around him. He would rise above them. Joe Ranga never needed a spotlight to prove he was a leader. His actions spoke long before his words ever did. In a world where many try to lead through titles, speeches, or commands, Joe believed in a different philosophy. True leadership is measured by example, not announcements. From the earliest stages of his rise, Joe understood that people don't follow instructions. They follow inspiration. They follow consistency. They follow someone who does the work they talk about. This was the foundation of Joe's leadership style. He never asked others to do what he wasn't already doing himself. Whether he was training, studying, building, or overcoming obstacles, Joe always put in the effort first. He became the kind of person whose presence alone motivated others to step up. His discipline inspired discipline. His courage inspired courage. His focus created waves of determination in those around him. People saw the way he moved, the way he committed, the way he stayed loyal to his goals, and they naturally wanted to rise to that standard. Joe didn't try to impress people with speeches. He impressed them with action. They saw him show up early, stay late, push harder, and give more than anyone expected. They saw how he treated others, how he stayed humble despite his progress, and how he handled pressure with a calm strength. Without saying a word, he taught valuable lessons: responsibility, perseverance, humility, and resilience. When challenges arose, Joe didn't hide behind excuses. He stepped forward, took charge, and became the first to face the difficulty. When others hesitated, he moved. When situations demanded solutions, he created them. When teams felt discouraged, he lifted them through his steady presence and work ethic. This made people trust him, not because he demanded loyalty but because he earned it. Joe understood that leadership isn't about commanding others but elevating them. He helped people discover their strengths, encouraged them to stretch their abilities, and pushed them to believe in opportunities they often overlooked. His leadership was a quiet force, a guiding energy that made others want to become the best version of themselves. Through his actions, Joe proved that leadership isn't something you claim. It's something you demonstrate every day through choices, behavior, and commitment. And because he consistently lived the values he expected from others, he created a ripple effect that reached far beyond his own journey. One of the most defining aspects of Joe Ranga's journey was that his rise was never a solo mission. Even as he climbed higher, he never forgot the people walking the path beside him. Joe believed that true greatness is not measured only by how far you go, but by how many people you help ascend along the way. His success was not a ladder he climbed alone, it was a bridge he built for others. Joe understood something many overlook. A leader who rises alone builds a moment, but a leader who lifts others builds a legacy. And he was driven by the desire to create impact that went beyond personal achievement. Whenever he learned a lesson, gained experience, or discovered a new opportunity, he shared it generously. He didn't guard knowledge as a secret, nor did he view others as competition. Instead, he saw potential in them, potential that deserved to be nurtured and supported. People around him often found strength in his encouragement. He was the type of person who could look at someone struggling and say, "You can do better, and I will help you get there." This support wasn't empty motivation. Joe backed his words with action. He mentored those who were lost. He guided those who were uncertain. He offered clarity, confidence, and direction to anyone willing to grow. His rise created waves of inspiration. When others watched him work, they realized what was possible. When they saw him overcome obstacles, they felt empowered to conquer their own. And when they witnessed his humility despite success, they understood that rising doesn't require stepping on others. It requires lifting them. Joe also believed that success grows when shared. When he found opportunities, he brought others into the room with him. When he gained a platform, he used it to highlight the strengths of those around him. He invested in people, not just financially but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. His presence became a source of support, and his belief in others helped them believe in themselves. Even during moments when he could have focused entirely on his personal ambition, Joe still made time to guide someone, teach something, or offer insight. He understood that the strongest communities are built by people who uplift each other, not by those who hoard progress for themselves. Joe's journey proves that rising together creates deeper impact than rising alone. His willingness to help others didn't slow his progress, it multiplied it. By lifting others, he created a network of strength, unity, and inspiration that extended far beyond his individual accomplishments. Confidence was not something Joe Ranga was born with, it was something he built, piece by piece, through every challenge he faced and every victory he earned. His confidence was not loud arrogance. It was a quiet, powerful roar that came from knowing the battles he had survived and the strength he had forged. This confidence didn't shout for attention. It radiated naturally, drawing people in and inspiring them to believe in themselves. Joe understood that real confidence is rooted in self-awareness. He took the time to understand his strengths, acknowledge his weaknesses, and accept himself fully. This gave him a solid foundation that no criticism, no failure, and no obstacle could shake. When he walked into a room, he didn't demand respect, his presence created it. His posture, his focus, his consistency, and his inner calm reflected a person who had fought hard to become who he was. The roar of his confidence echoed through his actions more than his words. He approached challenges with steady determination, made decisions with clarity, and pursued goals with unwavering conviction. When he faced uncertainty, he trusted his preparation. When he faced pressure, he trusted his discipline. When he faced doubt, he trusted his growth. This trust in himself became the engine that powered his ambitions. Joe's confidence wasn't about proving others wrong, it was about proving himself right. Every time he overcame an obstacle, his inner voice grew stronger. Every time he stepped out of his comfort zone, his limits widened. Confidence became his guiding force, helping him navigate storms with composure and opportunities with boldness. People around him felt this energy. His confidence didn't intimidate them, it uplifted them. It made them believe they too could face their fears, break their limits, and rise above their struggles. His journey became a reminder that confidence isn't noise. It's balance, it's belief, it's the courageous decision to trust your path even when the destination is invisible. Joe's rise showed that confidence is not just a trait. It's a weapon, a shield, a tool, and a roar that grows louder as you grow stronger. It is the inner force that transforms potential into action, vision into reality, and effort into achievement. And once that roar awakens, it becomes impossible to silence. Joe Ranga's journey was driven not just by ambition for the present, but by a vision that extended far into the future. While many focus only on immediate results, Joe looked beyond the moment, planning each step with foresight, clarity, and purpose. He understood that short-term achievements are fleeting unless anchored to a long-term vision. His ability to see the bigger picture became a cornerstone of his rise. From early on, Joe asked himself questions that others often avoided. Where do I want to be in 5 years? 10 years? How will the choices I make today shape the life I want tomorrow? These questions weren't just theoretical. They guided his daily decisions, his strategy, and his mindset. Every action was aligned with a larger mission, and every challenge was evaluated through the lens of long-term impact. Joe also recognized that a clear vision fuels resilience. When setbacks occurred, he didn't lose direction because he knew the ultimate destination. When obstacles seemed insurmountable, he remembered the larger goal and persisted with patience. His vision acted as a compass, helping him navigate uncertainty and keep moving forward even when progress felt slow. Moreover, Joe's vision was not selfish. He imagined a future where his success could create opportunities for others, where his achievements could inspire communities, and where his impact could extend beyond himself. This perspective allowed him to make bold choices that were not just profitable or convenient, but meaningful and transformative. By focusing on the horizon rather than the immediate, Joe trained himself to think strategically, act decisively, and invest in what truly mattered. His vision became a magnet for opportunity, attracting people, resources, and ideas aligned with his mission. It gave him patience to endure, courage to innovate, and clarity to make tough decisions. Joe Ranga's story reminds us that true power lies in seeing beyond the present. While others chased temporary gains, he built a trajectory that ensured enduring success, influence, and impact. Vision was the engine that drove every step of his rise, the map that guided his roar, and the light that illuminated possibilities others could not yet see. Joe Ranga's journey is a masterclass in resilience, the kind of resilience that transforms obstacles into opportunities and adversity into advantage. Life presented him with moments that could have easily broken anyone else. Financial struggles, skepticism from peers, unexpected setbacks, and the uncertainty of an uncharted path. Yet, Joe approached each challenge with a mindset that adversity was not an enemy but a teacher. Resilience for Joe was not a single act of courage. It was a continuous process of standing up every time life knocked him down. When circumstances seemed overwhelming, he refused to surrender. Instead, he analyzed the situation, adjusted his strategy, and pushed forward with renewed determination. This adaptability allowed him to maintain momentum even when the path forward was unclear or treacherous. Joe also understood that resilience is as much mental as it is physical. He cultivated patience, emotional control, and the ability to see setbacks as temporary, not permanent. Every disappointment became a lesson in persistence, teaching him to endure the uncomfortable and persevere when most would give up. Over time, this mental fortitude became a defining trait that separated him from others who relied solely on talent or luck. In addition, Joe's resilience inspired those around him. His ability to remain composed under pressure, recover quickly from failure, and continue striving toward his goals created a ripple effect. Others who witnessed his perseverance found the courage to face their own struggles, to push past their limits, and to believe that challenges could be overcome with consistent effort. Through resilience, Joe learned to embrace the uncertainty of life rather than fear it. He realized that adversity was not a detour from success but a necessary part of the journey. By facing difficulties head-on and refusing to let circumstances define him, he strengthened his character, sharpened his skills, and created an unshakable foundation for lasting achievement. Joe Ranga's life proves that it is not the absence of hardship that defines greatness, but the ability to rise stronger every time adversity strikes. His resilience became both a shield against defeat and a driving force propelling him toward his dreams. Joe Ranga's rise was fueled not only by hard work and determination but also by his ability to innovate and adapt. In a world that is constantly changing, Joe understood that rigid thinking leads to stagnation, while creativity and flexibility open doors to opportunity. He approached challenges with a mindset that there is always a better way, a smarter path, or a more efficient solution, and he was willing to explore it. Innovation for Joe was more than inventing new ideas. It was about seeing possibilities where others saw problems. When faced with obstacles, he didn't settle for conventional methods. Instead, he questioned existing approaches, experimented with alternatives, and continuously refined his strategies. This mindset allowed him to stay ahead of the curve and capitalize on opportunities that others overlooked. Adaptability was equally important in his journey. Joe knew that circumstances, markets, and environments could shift at any moment. Rather than resisting change or fearing the unknown, he embraced it. He learned to pivot quickly, to adjust plans without losing focus on the ultimate goal, and to turn unexpected situations into advantages. His adaptability became a powerful tool, allowing him to thrive even in uncertain or challenging conditions. Moreover, Joe's innovative thinking extended beyond his own work. He encouraged those around him to challenge norms, think creatively, and approach problems with open minds. By fostering a culture of experimentation and learning, he built teams capable of responding to change with agility and confidence. Through innovation and adaptability, Joe Ranga transformed challenges into opportunities and obstacles into stepping stones. He showed that success is not just about following a path, it is about creating new paths when the old ones no longer serve. His journey proves that those who innovate and adapt are not merely surviving change, they are shaping the future. Joe Ranga's journey demonstrates that persistence is not just a trait, it is a lifestyle, a mindset, and a powerful force that turns dreams into reality. From the very beginning, Joe faced situations that could have made even the strongest people give up. He encountered skepticism from peers, lacked resources, and often faced barriers that seemed insurmountable. Yet, he refused to allow these obstacles to dictate his destiny. Persistence, for Joe, meant showing up every day even when motivation waned. It meant continuing to take action when results were slow, invisible, or delayed. He understood that success is rarely instantaneous, and that the path to achievement is often lined with repeated effort, small wins, and relentless determination. Joe never treated setbacks as signals to stop. Instead, he saw them as challenges to push through, lessons to internalize, and opportunities to refine his approach. His persistence also involved maintaining focus on his long-term vision. While others gave in to distraction, doubt, or the temptation of easier paths, Joe remained disciplined and committed. He broke down his ambitions into daily actions, constantly moving forward step by step, brick by brick, building momentum that would eventually carry him to extraordinary heights. Furthermore, Joe's persistence inspired those around him. People who witnessed his unwavering commitment to his goals found themselves motivated to continue their own journeys. His refusal to quit became a standard by which others measured their own efforts, creating a ripple effect of perseverance and resilience. Joe's life exemplifies the truth that persistence is not just enduring difficulties, but embracing them as a necessary part of growth. Through sheer determination, consistent effort, and an unyielding belief in himself, he demonstrated that no obstacle is too great, no challenge too complex, and no dream too distant when persistence is the driving force. Joe Ranga's journey was never solely about personal achievement, it was about creating a meaningful impact that extended far beyond himself. While many chase success for recognition, wealth, or status, Joe measured success by the positive influence he could have on others. He understood that true greatness is amplified when it benefits not just the individual but the community, the team, and even society at large. From the early stages of his career, Joe actively sought ways to make a difference. He shared knowledge, mentored those around him, and provided opportunities for others to grow alongside him. He believed that success is most fulfilling when it becomes a platform for uplifting others. Every lesson he learned, every network he built, and every resource he gained became a tool to create impact for someone else. Joe also approached challenges with a vision that transcended personal gain. When making decisions, he asked not only how it would benefit him, but also how it could empower others. His work ethic, discipline, and leadership set an example that inspired people to pursue their own goals with courage and determination. By living a life of integrity, commitment, and purpose, he demonstrated that success and influence go hand in hand. Moreover, Joe's contributions extended into building environments where collective growth was possible. He fostered collaboration, encouraged innovation, and created systems that allowed people to thrive. His rise became a beacon, showing that personal ambition need not come at the expense of others. It can, in fact, fuel collective progress. Through this approach, Joe Ranga ensured that his journey would leave a lasting legacy. His impact was measured not only by what he achieved for himself, but by how many lives he touched, inspired, and elevated along the way. His story illustrates that the most powerful form of success is one that radiates outward, creating change and opportunity beyond the individual. Joe Ranga's journey is more than a story of personal achievement, it is a legacy designed to inspire generations. From the very beginning, he understood that every action, every choice, and every step he took could leave a lasting imprint on those who followed. His rise was not just about reaching the top, but about creating a path that others could look to, learn from, and follow with confidence. This legacy of inspiration is rooted in the values Joe lived by: courage, discipline, resilience, innovation, and unwavering persistence. By embodying these principles in every aspect of his life, he showed others that greatness is not reserved for the privileged or the lucky, it is earned through consistent effort, strategic thinking, and the refusal to quit. People around him began to see what is possible when potential is combined with action and determination. Joe also recognized that inspiration comes from authenticity. He never pretended to be perfect, nor did he hide his struggles. By sharing his failures, lessons, and the realities behind his success, he created a connection that others could relate to. This transparency made his achievements feel attainable, not distant, and motivated others to pursue their own goals without fear of setbacks or doubt. Furthermore, Joe's legacy extends beyond immediate circles. His work, leadership, and vision continue to influence individuals and communities, creating ripple effects that outlive him. By lifting others, sharing knowledge, and demonstrating the power of perseverance, he ensured that his impact would continue long after any single achievement. The story of Joe Ranga is a blueprint for anyone who wishes to rise and roar, a demonstration that true success is measured not only by what one accomplishes but by the inspiration one leaves behind. His life teaches us that when ambition is paired with purpose, every action can become a catalyst for change, and every journey can ignite hope, courage, and possibility in the hearts of others. The journey of Joe Ranga teaches us that greatness is not born overnight. It is forged in quiet beginnings, strengthened through struggle, sharpened by failure, and amplified by courage, discipline, and vision. His rise and roar remind us that every challenge is an opportunity, every setback is a lesson, and every step forward, no matter how small, brings us closer to our highest potential. Let us take inspiration from Joe's story. Let us embrace our struggles, persist with determination, lead by example, lift others as we rise, and roar with confidence in the pursuit of our dreams. For in doing so, we don't just create success for ourselves, we leave a legacy that inspires, empowers, and transforms the world around us. So rise with purpose, roar with conviction, and let your journey be the spark that ignites greatness in others. Thank you.